ESL 106, we're back, and here we're talking in Module 5. We are in Module 5, and we're talking about this article called Genomics. Hopefully you've been able to read the article. We're going to review it together, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me or send me a note in discussion board. But we're going to talk about this article. It's a really interesting article. We were supposed to use this article to practice skills 4 and 5. So hopefully you were able to do that. Take a look. I'm on page 110 in your book. And I'll get us started here with a few good questions about what is this article about, genomics, and what's the main idea? Really, what is being communicated here in this article? I know genomics is the topic. I'm going to be looking for a definition. What does that mean? And then what's the main idea? What do they want to tell us about genomics as I read this article? So my first question to you would be, where did you find in the article sentences that gave you the main idea? Where would you point to? Which sentences give the main idea in this article? I usually look in the first section. Good place to look is the introduction, usually towards the end of the introduction. And here I highlighted these sentences. This is in paragraph 3, towards the end, where it says, what if we could change the focus of healthcare to one based on characteristics of individual human beings, rather than on statistical probabilities? What if we could concentrate our efforts on prediction and prevention, rather than simply on diagnosis and treatment? Current medical research is taking some promising steps in these directions, propelled by the research findings of a new area of biomedical science called genomics. So I know that's a lot, but it kind of brings together that whole first section. That first section is talking a lot about the problems that we have in our current medicine, in our current healthcare, how we diagnose, how we find and treat illnesses. And this is asking, what if we could do better? What if we could try something different? And really, it ends by saying there is something promising, a new area of biomedical science called genomics. And that introduces our topic. So if you, when you open up the assignment for this reading assignment is going to ask you, write a sentence that captures the main idea of this article, capture it in just one sentence. And it's not easy, but you're going to take that first section, and especially those sentences I just highlighted, and try to write them in your own ideas. You'll start the sentence something like this. In the article, genomics, the writer shows that, or the article genomics claims that, and then just give in one sentence what's really the focus. But let's keep talking about the text organization. I want to notice, what are the parts of this article, and are the parts all leading towards the main idea that I think this writer wants to explain? So hopefully you were able to annotate the article. And by that I mean you were able to highlight, you were able to circle words, maybe signal words you saw that showed problems or solutions, causes or effects. And you were also able to look at vocabulary. One of the things I always do after I annotate an article is to create an outline. And I want to do that with you here. A good example of an outline that will help us understand this article as a whole. So you notice that there are 4 sections in this article. There are 8 paragraphs, but 4 sections, and each section has its own subtitle. And that helps me to understand the parts and how all these parts are leading us back to understanding the topic, genomics. I see that the first section is talking about the current models. We go on to talk about the human genome. And then they talk about genomics, genomics in treatment and genomics in screening, right? So those of you who are in healthcare, maybe this makes more sense to you, how genomics is being used both to treat disease and to screen for disease. But let's take a look at the outline and just go paragraph by paragraph. In the first section, if we gave each paragraph a title, or we pulled out some key words from each paragraph, what would you put for paragraph 1? What would you write for paragraph 2? How is it slightly different? And then where's the focus of paragraph 3? So I wrote it this way, and there are different ways to write it. But I said paragraph 1 really focused on the current model and how we diagnose disease and how we try to treat or cure diseases currently. Paragraph 2 emphasizes that it's a lot of imprecise guessing. We don't really know what's going on. We have to make a guess. We have to try to eliminate possibilities and then go with what we think is probably going on. And then paragraph 3 goes on talking about the problems in our current models. They're expensive, there's a lot of errors, and it really ends with the promise, right? Maybe we could move to predicting and preventing disease with genomics. So that's the way that first section works. It's really a classic introduction where it gives us the importance of this topic. It talks about how our current models are falling short and we need something new. Hopefully, that will be in genomics. Paragraph 4, when I move to the next section, it's just one paragraph in this section, and it's really describing the human genome, right? I mean, I get a picture where it shows the DNA. It tries to give me a sense of what the human genome is all about. It gives me some definition about chromosomes, about DNA, and it helps me understand how the human genome was sequenced and all the parts that are involved. That's what that picture shows me. How many parts are involved. They talk about all the different genome that make up a human being. Where do they go in section 3? Now I'm going to talk about genomics in treatment. Well, what is paragraph 5 about? I see another picture that's related to paragraph 5. It's a picture of cancer, right? Melanoma. It's showing this skin cancer, and it talks all throughout that paragraph about how genomics can be used to treat skin cancer, to treat cancer in general. When I turn the page, I go to paragraph 6, and it's a little different. What's the focus of paragraph 6? So paragraph 6 is really looking at prescribing medications, drugs. How do we determine the prescription? How much and how often? How sensitive is the individual to this drug? It's hard to know. And they talk about using genomics, right? Looking at the DNA, the genomes of individuals in order to treat their cancer, in order to prescribe their drugs. And hopefully you're seeing that in both of these paragraphs, the emphasis is on how individual this treatment can become when you're using genomics. We go to paragraph 7 and we get into screening. So what do they talk about in paragraph 7? Talking about preventing disease before it even happens. The idea of screening, looking to see if a person or a patient is possibly going to get that disease, and giving them advice based on predictions, right? Paragraph 8 is very interesting. It really gets into the ethical dilemma of this information. Do you want to know if you're going to get a disease? Do you want this prediction? Is it helpful information? Well, it depends if there's a cure or a treatment for that disease. And in paragraph 8, they deal with that ethical problem, that ethical dilemma. So when I look at these 4 sections, I get the overall picture of this article and what it's really trying to teach me about genomics, how important genomics are, and what a change it would be, how different this would be from how we currently practice medicine. So guys, I asked you to take a look on the next page, page 114, looking at main ideas. And this outline may help you. If you're taking notes, you can use this outline. I will be asking you to give me the answers to these main idea questions when you do the assignment on Blackboard. In addition, you had to take a look at the closer look questions. And I have my answers here that I can share with you. But it's much better if you go back and find these answers in the article. This is your best practice finding the supporting points, the supporting details. And so I'm giving you the paragraph where each of these questions can be found. If you look at these paragraphs, you're going to find these answers. And hopefully you can go back and understand the article better as you do a closer look. Here are the answers for number 6 and number 7. And we can talk about these if you have questions about these. But I really want to push forward. We only have a few more minutes and look at the skill practice that they gave you. I first thought about skill 4. And skill 4 is asking us to find text patterns in that article. And they were pointing some out to you, right? When you looked at the while you read questions. I saw some of these skill patterns. And I'll show you which paragraphs I wrote down for problem solution or definition. I saw cause and effect. I saw comparison contrast. And hopefully you were able to find some of those signal words. In addition, there were some skill 5 questions, and these are on page 115, asking you about vocabulary and context. So we just have a little bit of time left, and let's look at a couple of these. You had to look at the sentence, it comes from the article, and choose A or B. What would you choose? And I'll just give you a few of my answers. A for number 1, B for number 2. And when I got to 3 and 4, I again chose B for number 3, B for number 4. Okay, and we're out of time. I just want to show you your next steps as you finish up genomics. You're going to be looking at the discussion board and answering some questions. Give me your understanding, your opinion when it comes to genomics, right? How is this going to help us? How might it be a problem? I want to know what your opinion is.